floods have hit Japan, sending tons of radiation-contaminated water from the Fukushima nuclear plant into the ocean. That's been confirmed by the facility's operator, Tokyo Electric Power.
You really have to wonder, what the hell is it going to take for this nation to actually get a grip? Get a grip, people. I mean, what kind of tragedies are going to unfold here or continue to unfold for the penny to drop? Look at this. I mean, severe floods, the releases of all, this is an industrialized nation that has stockpiles and stockpiles of chemicals of all the different things as were released on March 11/11. It wasn't just the nuclear is just it's the jewel in the crown, the nuclear catastrophe, the jewel in the crown. But look at the devastation, what these people are subjected to. Is it like, oh geez, you know, it's God's will, I guess. It's God's will. This is God's will. And the fortitude that needs to be, obviously this is devastating to any psyche. I mean, this sort of destruction is absolutely devastating to any psyche. You have to be Herculean in your physical, mental makeup to withstand this, I guess. Yes, absolutely. And what is it going to take? I mean, these people are on the greatest earthquake zone on the planet anywhere. The Java fault or whatever they're on, Jakarta fault, whatever it's called, and these devastating catastrophes are now mounting up. And the releases, the water now, okay, this is flowing into the nuclear plants that are in this area, are going to get flooded again. And yeah, the dilution of this pollution, the dilution is not happening. This is spreading the pollution of the nuclear catastrophe. And of course, let's hear the usual suspect. I'm going to keep playing this RT. RT has mission control calling Dr. Busby. Mission control, Dr. Busby. Yeah, listen who he works for.
Police have declared the situation an emergency. Entire neighborhoods were submerged in water after rivers burst their banks. Around 90,000 people have been moved to safety.
Okay,
Professor Christopher Busby, who's the scientific secretary of the European Committee on Radiation Risks.
Scientific secretary of the European Commission. He's got a paycheck from an outfit that is propagating this disaster. These people are part of the problem. But he has a paycheck, and he's now going to tell us that, oh, you know what, if this hits the nuclear plant at Fukushima, we're in real trouble. Listen to the subterfuge from this guy.
Says that there could be serious radiation-related consequences if the situation is not handled properly.
There could be serious radiation consequences. Now, I'm outraged listening. I thought we were over this. I've confronted his. I've actually had a back and forth on a comment that I made, and he commented on my video, knock yourself out, Ackerman, you blowhard. And this guy is still in the system promoting the same subterfuge, that it could be a real tragedy. Well, the tragedy has occurred because no one knows where these cores, these nuclear reactor cores are in these buildings. The buildings are just shells that's already gone into the earth, and he's still propagating this concept that things could get worse. Yeah, things could get worse if the plant next to it does the same thing, but it's already the worst of the worst, and this is just adding. And I'm wondering, what's it going to take for people to actually mount a solid offensive against the subterfuge and the lies? Let's hear what our Dr. Busby has to say.
There's an enormous amount of radioactivity underneath the plant. The reactors are holed, and a lot of the fuel is actually in the ground. and that's mixing with the groundwater. Well, normally what they do is they pump that away because the groundwater becomes heavily contaminated, and they pump it into those big tanks. But of course, if the groundwater rises as a result of this rain, then that stuff will come out of the surface of the ground. And the second problem, of course, is it may affect the integrity of the structures, the actual building structures of the 4 reactors.
The buildings blew up, Uncle Busby. The buildings blew up. The reactor cores have melted down, out, in, everywhere, into the earth already. Hello, hello, expert, calling an expert, mission control, continue.
And then, of course, you're into really serious nuclear nightmare territory then. It surprises...
Then we're into really serious nuclear nightmare then, as though we're not now. The Pacific, well, you know, he said actually in one of his videos, it'll dilute. The Pacific is so large. He actually gave a number of the gallons or millions, billions, trillions of gallons in the water. Don't worry about it. The Pacific will be fine. He actually said that. Let's hear.
That they haven't got enough pumps to deal with this situation. It's not a situation that's impossible to predict. I mean, all along the line, we're being told that TEPCO couldn't possibly have predicted this and couldn't possibly have predicted that. Well, the answer is they should have.
Severe floods have hit.
That's true. That's true. They should have predicted that. Well, they don't care about predicting that because it's by design. I have made some comments on this by design that people like Busby again come on and make it sound like it could be a lot worse. People. No matter, and I said that I'm going to pull away from this criticism of people, but this is so outrageous. I mean, for an expert, he's on the payroll. And for these people to be the go-to people, the usual suspects they pick on, they don't go to the people that are on the ground that understand what's going on. They actually rely on his subterfuge to continue the fantasy, the mantras of, oh, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Yes, of course, it could be a lot worse. At a certain point, it can't be a lot worse because what's the worst of the worst? Nothing's left. How can it be a lot worse? Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you can figure out how it could be a lot worse. That could be a series of painting. What could be worse? Yeah, I think so. I got to write that down. What could be worse? So what I'm looking at, another horrendous disaster has hit this island, and how long will it take for the Japanese to say, we've fucking had it. We've had it. We can't take this shit from these pricks anymore. There is nothing being done to fix Fukushima. Nobody is coming to our aid. You know, there is a point at which you would say, there's nothing left to lose. Yeah, it can't get any worse. When is this going to happen for these people? So, yeah, and of course, Busby, they got to pull in this RT bunch now, have to soften it, gloss it over, that's it, gloss it over. I wasn't going to do this critical thing, but it's so difficult to look at this and the tragedy, the suffering that is occurring. And they're sharing their suffering. They're sharing their suffering with all of us. Everywhere on the planet, all creatures are now sharing the suffering of these pricks that are continuing to let this happen. And I hold the Japanese, not the people that are rising against this oligarchy that is continuing to try and promote this nuclear fantasy, what they have. That nation is sharing its pain with everybody. And I'm thinking it's like, forget about Japan. A global community has to rise up and say, fuck you assholes, we're coming in to fix this. We're gonna actually fix this. It's so outrageous. It is, I'll stop here. What's it gonna take?